Hey guys, it's 8mp POE here, bringing you a new video. So the great folks over at Panoeagle, I hope I'm saying that correctly, sent me over one of their new 4K 8 megapixel color night vision dome cameras to show you guys. Now I say dome camera, it's not exactly a dome camera. There's no clear dome over the top of it, but it does have that kind of design to it. And then you mount it up at the top, you angle it outward. So that's similar type of camera. Anyway, it's about 109 bucks, and we're going to check it out right here. Let's go. All right, so as I already said, this thing's about 109 bucks. You pick it up on Panoeagle's Amazon storefront. I'll have a link in the description below so you can head over there and check it out. But nonetheless, let's dive right in and see what all we can do with it. Let's get started. All right, so let's get this thing opened up. So right here on the top, this is an HD POE camera. It's 4K, 8 megapixel, and of course it does the latest and greatest color night vision. So if we get the box opened up here, right here on the top is the instructions for getting things set up and added into the NVR. Besides that, we get the waterproof boot for the PoE network cable. Let's see, down here in the bottom, we got the mounting screws for getting the camera mounted. And if we get this cover off here, here is the camera itself. And just looking at it, you got two lights there on the side and then the camera. This has a bezel here that should come off, which will allow us to move the camera and angle it the way we want it to. But that's about it as far as what comes in the box itself. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step and we'll get this thing installed. Alright, as far as the installation goes, I want to replace this Reolink dome camera that I have here on the side of my house. I really don't like dome cameras. They tend to collect dust and debris there in that kind of glass dome. It's not so bad during the day, but you really notice it at night. When you're using infrared, and so if you don't clean it regularly, it really becomes kind of a pain and just almost becomes useless. But here we have the old camera removed, so it should be an easy install. We're just going to plug in this PoE network cable into the new camera and we'll screw it right in. And as you can see here, I have the new camera installed. I have not put the bezel on yet because basically, we're going to want to get this camera added into the NVR so that I can then set the angle the way I want it to and get it pointed exactly where I want. Then I'll be able to tighten that screw down and put the bezel on and we'll be completely installed. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step and we'll get this thing added into the NVR. Okay, here we are in the config section of my NVR. Now this is a LaView NVR, but I'm actually running the Hikvision firmware on it. Now, it's all pretty much the same. If we go into the camera management section here, this camera is plugged into port 2 or channel 2 on my NVR. So basically I need to go into the settings for that port. First thing I want to make sure is that it has an IP in the private range that the NVR is using. So I'm going to change it to, let's see, .3 here, since that seems to be available. Since this camera is completely compatible with our NVR, then we should be able to set it to default for the protocol. The management port is going to be 8000. The manual for this book says that the default password for the camera is like 123456. So we can go ahead and set that here. And since this camera is compatible with Hikvision NVRs, we can set the adding method to be plug and play. Well, after that, we're just going to hit OK. It'll take a second to save, and then we can refresh this page, and it looks like that port or channel 2 is now coming online, so we should be good to go. We now have the camera added into the NVR. And just to show you a final clip here of the outside camera, I was able to angle the camera as I needed to and see where it needs to be so that I could go ahead and screw everything back down and put that bezel back on so you can see how that looks here. But let's go ahead and move on to the next step, and we'll go over config options within the NVR. Okay, so just to try to go over config, or at least what some of your options are within the NVR, I'm looking at my NVR through the local Hikvision client for Mac. So I can hit remote configuration here, which allows me to configure my NVR. We're going to go down to the camera settings here, and if we click on camera 2, you can see these are the settings for the channel itself, which we configured initially when getting it added into the NVR, so we don't really need to change anything here. But if we go on down under image, we can click on video and audio, and this is where you would change the bit rate, resolution, or maybe even the video quality here. I don't really need to change anything, so I'm going to leave it all the default. If we go under image settings, we can adjust the brightness and contrast if we needed to. The quality looks pretty good here, so I don't think we need to change anything. And under the video display section is where we can change the name that's displayed on the camera if we want to, as well as the date format and time format. The one thing I have noticed is that even though I change it to 12-hour in the time format, it never seems to update. I don't think it's an issue with the camera. I seem to have that issue with several different cameras I have plugged into the NVR, so I'm guessing it's something to do with the NVR, maybe a bug in the system, not really sure. It's not a big issue, so I'm not really worried about it. Only other thing I really want to look at in regards to settings is here under event, which is where you can set the mask if you want, as far as areas that you want monitored or don't want monitored. For now, I'm leaving it all open, but it's certainly an option to set if I wanted to. And as you can see here on the side, all the different sections for the various detections that you have: face detection, person detection, parking detection. Lots of different options there, and you could tweak all of those. But other than that, if we go out of settings here, we can go back to the main view, and you can kind of see the camera loaded up there, and everything looks really good. It's got nice picture quality. It's a decent 4K camera. But that's about it for this step. Let's go ahead and move on to the last step, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so just to take a look at the video quality of the camera here, here is some nighttime footage utilizing that color night vision. Now, one thing I will note, I don't see a way to turn the light off at all. So at night, it always comes on and it will stay on all night. Not really a problem, but you couldn't see what the camera footage might look like without the light being on. So you always have that color night vision. So, I mean, again, not a bad deal, but if you are trying to put this camera up to where it may not be visible to everybody, somewhat hidden, that light's probably going to give it away. Here is some daytime footage as well. Now, both clips look really nice. Very good 4K quality. I mean, you know, just over $100, this is not a bad little camera. Works great with your standard Hikvision NVR. It does support RTSP and ONBIF, so if you're looking to set it up without an NVR, you certainly can do that as well. I'll have a link for Panoeagle's website as well as their Amazon storefront in the description below. Head over there and take a look. They have lots of cameras to choose from. As always, I want to thank everybody for donating to my Buy Me a Coffee link. Every little bit helps. If you haven't had a chance, head over to my spring merchandise page and check out all of the Burns home automation merchandise. And if you're looking for the latest smart home gear, you're going to want to check out SMONET. I'll have a link in the description below. Head over there and see what deals they currently have running. And if you're looking for the latest smart window treatment, check out Smart Wings. I'll have a link in the description below for that as well. Head over there and see what deals they currently have running. If you're interested in buying and selling stock or maybe cryptocurrency, you're going to want to check out Robinhood. I'll have a link in the description below for that as well. And if you sign up with that link, you and I both will get a free share of stock. It's a win-win for both of us. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments below. As always, if there are any videos out there that you would like to see that I don't already have out there, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll see if I can't get something put together for you guys. Otherwise, I'll see you guys around.